Good morning, welcome to CATEX-TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. This is a live broadcast from Princeton, New Jersey. Today is Thursday, January 7, 2010. It's 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the U.S. It's 4:30 p.m. in London. If you need to reach us during the broadcast, you can phone in toll-free at 1-866-67-CATEX. Overseas, our AOL instant mail address is CATEX-TV. Just some news that came out after we put the issue to bed. There's a new finance minister in Japan. The previous finance minister resigned because of ill health. Also, the U.S. December retail numbers were up, actually, fairly robustly, exceeding some expectations. Now we'll go to today's news. In the United States, a man with an assault rifle walked into a business in St. Louis this morning and shot at least 3 people. Their conditions are unknown at this time. The man still has not been apprehended. The shooting occurred about 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time at the ABB power plant on the north side of St. Louis. Swiss-based ABB Group makes power transmission and industrial automation equipment. At the St. Louis site, they manufacture transformers. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch reported that some employees ran to the rooftop to escape the gunfire. The temperature in St. Louis was about 8 degrees at the time. According to the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, the man was carrying a semi-automatic weapon. Local TV is reporting that 36 emergency vehicles are ringing the sprawling plant. ABB itself has operations in about 100 countries. It employs over 120,000 people. Messages and an email interview request left in Zurich with an ABB spokesman were not returned, nor was a call to the St. Louis business returned. We don't have any more information on that. The United Arab Emirates and Bahrain have been added to a list of countries most likely to suffer a sovereign debt crisis in 2010, according to an analysis by the Royal Bank of Scotland. According to the bank, quote, recent large-scale external borrowing by quasi-sovereign entities is the reason why the UAE has been included in this list of countries that could face debt problems this year. The bank's report was designed to try and predict sovereign debt crises. All in all, RBS identified 14 economies as being potentially vulnerable to sovereign debt crises this year. Hungary and Romania both returned to the list of crisis-prone countries as a result of expanded current account deficits. Other countries that are new to the list for the first time, or at least for 2010, include Bahrain, Iceland, Lebanon, and the UAE. Qatar, which was seen to be on the list last year, dropped off this year's list. The appearance of Hungary, Iceland, Latvia, Romania, and Ukraine as potential risky countries tallies with the fact that all 5 have been forced to go to the International Monetary Fund for emergency funding over the past 18 months. Also on the list as potential risk countries are Bahrain, Bulgaria, Estonia, Croatia, Kazakhstan, Lithuania, and Panama, although none of them have had to go to the IMF yet. Interestingly, the analysis was restricted in that it only revealed the country's, quote, ability to pay and not its willingness to pay, which after recent debt crises in Latin America and Dubai has been shown to be critically important, as well as in Iceland, where the government is refusing to pay back the Netherlands and France, actually the Netherlands and Britain, excuse me. Back to the Midwest, I mentioned that the temperature in St. Louis was very low this morning. In Iowa, snow was piled so high that drivers couldn't see across an intersection. Wind chills in some area of North Dakota were as low as 52 degrees below zero. Frigid weather in the southern part of the U.S. has also imperiled the citrus crop. Forecasters say that wind chills could drop to near zero at night in some areas near South Carolina and Louisiana. Dangerously cold wind chill levels hit the Midwest early this morning. 52 degrees below zero recorded in North Dakota, negative 40 in parts of South Dakota, minus 27 in parts of Nebraska. According to the Weather Service, the temperatures are going to be nosediving over the next few days. The winds will be dropping off, but the temperature is going to drop. In Iowa, 10 more inches of snow were expected today. They had 2 feet of snow last month. 9 more inches of snow could fall in North Dakota. The weather has not let up since sweeping into the eastern United States earlier this week. 5 days of double-digit sub-zero low temperatures including -19, were recorded in a suburb of Minneapolis-St. Paul, Minnesota. United Airlines is preparing for worsening conditions. They canceled 130 flights out of O'Hare in Chicago today, about 30% of its schedule. In Europe, the weather has been a problem, but what happened in the Eurostar Channel Tunnel today was apparently unrelated to the weather. Eurostar was hit by new problems this morning as a high-speed train coming from Brussels to London became stuck in the tunnel for about 2 hours because of a technical problem. The train was subsequently towed to a station in England, passengers transferred, and got to St. Pancras Station in London about 3 hours late. Eurostar is investigating the problem. The breakdown caused delays today across Eurostar's network, which of course is the only rail link between Britain and the continent. Last month, of course, Eurostar came to a standstill for days because of train breakdowns under the English Channel. The company identified that problem as a result of unusually dry, powdery snow that got into the train's engines. The cold snap in Britain has also caused a stretch to the country's energy supplies. Prolonged freezing weather across Britain continues to stretch the supplies to the limit, with demand hitting an all-time high today. This is according to data on the grid operator National Grid PLC's website. The site forecasts demand for today at 457 million cubic meters, which is almost 7 million cubic meters above the last record 7 years ago. However, the level of demand needed to trigger a gas balancing alert, which would warn the market that demand threatened to outstrip supply in the system, has been set at 461 million meters for Thursday. So they're still about 5 million meters short of that. And the gas company, the transmission company, issued an alert to the market by email on Monday after demand surged 30% as Britain returned to work following the new year. The only difficulty was that the access of energy traders to the information on the National Grid data site has been very limited for most of this week because of technical problems with the website. It's always something, isn't it? Stock market in the U.S. is up a tiny bit. It's up about almost 2 points right now. We'll go to a word from our sponsors. I see that the Bank of England has left the UK interest rate at 0.5% for the foreseeable future. The State of the State message was delivered in Albany, New York yesterday by New York Governor David Paterson. Governor Paterson is going to be running for re-election this November. And one of the things the governor spoke about was of significant interest to our community. Governor Paterson said that he plans to revive the New York Insurance Exchange in a move to, quote, enhance New York's status as the world's financial center